Hello and welcome to this new video. This marks the official start of my long journey across Hokkaido, traveling only by local trains. In the last episode, I made my way from Akita to Shin-Aomori using local trains. From there, I took the Shinkansen through the Seikan tunnel to reach the currently northernmost Shinkansen station, where I stayed overnight, and today I'll be continuing my journey from there. Okay, so just a small interview. It's the next morning, the next day. It's the 29th of December. You can see the time there. It's like 8:35 around. My next train goes at 8:55 or so. So I want to leave the hotel at least 8:45. So I just finished everything, like, tidied everything up, packed everything again, and now I will head towards my longest journey up until this point. Or I mean, actually, it's probably not the longest journey, like distance-wise, but time-wise, because today, the whole day, I will stay inside trains and train stations until like 20 or like 8 p.m. in the evening. That means, yeah, it will hopefully be relaxing. I'm not sure actually. For those of you who are new to this video series, here's a quick explanation. A few days ago, I purchased the Hokkaido and East Japan bus. This is a seasonal ticket that costs around 11,000 yen, about 60 euros, and allows unlimited travel for 7 days on local trains operated by JR East, JR Hokkaido, and even some third sector railways. However, this only applies to local trains. That means no Shinkansen, except for the Seikan tunnel section, where you can buy a discounted add-on ticket, and also no limited express trains. So, and what does that actually mean? To give you an idea, using limited express trains, this journey would take about 9.5 hours and cost nearly 18,000 yen. With my ticket, however, it's much cheaper, especially since I'll be taking the same route back within those 7 days. But there's a trade-off. Traveling only by local trains takes a bit longer. In fact, the full journey adds up to more than 20 hours, including transfer times. So that's why I have to split this trip up into 2 days. Today alone, I will be taking 7 different trains and spending around 9 hours on board, traveling from Shin-Hakodate-Hokuto to my hotel in Asahikawa. While there's always the chance that the train would get delayed and mess up my whole schedule, because often I have less than 10 minutes to transfer. Throughout the journey, I'll be showing a map from time to time so that you can see exactly where I am. Also, I will include screenshots with arrival times, and I might even keep track of how much this trip did cost me. I caught my first train at 8:52 a.m. heading to Mori. According to the schedule, the journey takes 41 minutes. Oh, and one more quick note before we continue. The screenshots I took at different stations are all from Google Maps and they're in German, just in case you're wondering. At Mori, the train stopped for about 20 minutes to let limited express trains pass. After that, it continues on to Oshamambe. The train was actually much more crowded than expected, so I had to stand for the first 20 minutes. That said, it was kind of my own fault as well. I only got on the train about 5 minutes before departure, even though it had probably been waiting there for quite a while and boarding had already been possible earlier. A lot of the other passengers were carrying quite a bit of luggage. So I think many of them were doing something similar to what I was doing. Mori Station itself was really interesting. First of all, the view of the sea was great. But what really stood out were the hundreds of seagulls gathering along the coast. It was actually pretty fun to watch, and judging by all the cameras and phones, many of the other passengers felt the same way. The journey from here to Oshamambe was scheduled to take 57 minutes. I ended up arriving there slightly late at 10:56. So, hello and welcome. I'm at Oshamambe station, I think. I'm probably saying it wrong. I will show the map something to you. This is probably the only train where I have a lot of time until the next train for me comes, because I have to wait like 3 hours now, like from the beginning to here. It was like 2 hours with like a 20-minute break in Mori. I think I've done already a lot of voiceovers, so it should be good. Here's a waiting room, but again no coin lockers, but I think it's good. I think most people are doing the same thing like me. Like we've taken local trains to Sapporo or where. Now I will probably wait a bit, get maybe some snacks, some omyage, and go to the supermarket, buy something to eat, to Anki, relax a bit until my train comes in around 1:30 p.m. So I have like 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, but after that my transfer times are only usually 10 minutes, the maximum I think 30 minutes. So yeah, I didn't do too much while I was in Oshamambe. Besides working on my Anki cards, I picked up a few snacks and also bought a small key holder with the station sign. I also took a bit of time to look around the station before catching my next train to Kutchan. Once again, I regretted not boarding earlier. Most people were already on the train before me, so I had to stand for the entire journey. It was quite crowded overall, mainly because the aisle was filled with suitcases. According to the schedule, the ride takes 93 minutes, so standing the whole time wasn't exactly comfortable. I arrived almost on time at 15:04. Since I only had about 10 minutes before my next train, I headed straight to the platform and boarded immediately. This time, I also managed to get a seat luckily. Up until this point, the journey had been really enjoyable, even though I had already been traveling for more than 6 hours. But the majority of the trip was still ahead of me. I guess this is also a good moment to ask: if you enjoyed this video so far, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing. But let's talk a bit about the scenery. Most of the time on these trains, I've been sitting there looking out of the window. There's something really relaxing about traveling through snowy Hokkaido together with other passengers, passing by the sea, through forests and across open fields. Even though I really liked it, I couldn't help but wonder what this landscape looks like during the greener seasons. About 17 minutes later, I arrived in Otaru. I just realized that I apparently didn't take a screenshot of my arrival time, so I'll just assume I was on time and arrived at 16:26. By that point, it had already gotten dark, so I wasn't really able to film anything. You wouldn't have seen much in the footage anyway. Because of that, I don't have a lot of clips from this part, so I'll have to wrap up today's journey a bit more quickly. My next train was already waiting at the platform and was scheduled to depart in less than 10 minutes. When I got on, I was a bit confused at first. The train was quite long and the seats were arranged in a cross-seat layout, which made me think that I might have accidentally boarded the first class carriage. But as I later found out, some regular cars here also have those more comfortable luxury style seats. At 17:26, I arrived in Sapporo. I stayed on the train though, since it continued just 10 minutes later towards Iwamizawa using the same service. And I finally arrived there at 18:23. But my journey was far from over, and from this point on, it really started to drag. By now, I had already been traveling for almost 10 hours, and since it was already dark outside, there wasn't much I could do on the train, so I decided to use the time to plan the next few days ahead of my trip. One thing I found really interesting back then was that most of the trains here are diesel powered and usually consists of only one or two cars. You almost never see these kinds of rustic looking trains in Tokyo, and at that point I hadn't really experienced many like this before. Since I didn't get much footage due to the darkness, I'll also be using some clips from other parts of the route as background, just to keep things visually interesting. A few minutes after arriving, my next train to Takikawa was already waiting. I arrived there on time at 19:07. At this point, I had two options. I could either wait for about 2.5 hours for a direct train to Asahikawa on the Hakodate line, or I could wait about 30 minutes, take a train to Furano, and then transfer to another train to Asahikawa. Even though the second option is quite a detour, it would still get me to my destination earlier, so I decided to go with option 2. After about 30 minutes, I boarded the train to Furano. I arrived there at 20:39 and had around 8 minutes to transfer. The last train of the day was actually a really nice way to end the journey. I think it was one of, if not the most rustic train I've taken so far in Japan. Especially the interior had a really great atmosphere, and I'm pretty sure these were the most comfortable train seats I've experienced so far, softer than anything else, or maybe just very well worn, who knows. And then at 21:47, I finally arrived at today's destination, Asahikawa. After traveling 460 kilometers and spending around 13 hours on the move, I had finally made it. It was a long and exhausting journey, but now I could finally head to my hotel and get some rest for the day. So, welcome again to the last day of my long journey to Wakkanai. Today, like I woke up, finished breakfast. Um, Now it's around 9. Or actually it's the good thing, or yeah, meh, you can see it both ways. My journey with the train starts, I think, at 12:30. Yeah, 12:30. So after checkout, which is at 10, I have to wait for at least 2.5 hours. But I think it's actually okay, because I will go somewhere, eat something real this time. Probably just the McDonald's at the station. Sorry about that. For everyone who thought I will eat some delicious Hokkaido food. I did eat Hokkaido soy sauce and Hokkaido rice at the breakfast right now, so I think that's good enough. Mm-mm. But I really like how the people here in Hokkaido and also like in Akita are all really proud of their domestically produced rice. That's really interesting. I like that. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. So I know I just keep walking on from one side to another. Um, so yeah. And I also want to, like I said it yesterday, buy something for my feet, for the blisters. Um, because there's a drugstore at the station, so I hope to find something. So we'll pack my things at probably around 10, take or like half an hour before 10, take all the things, go to the station, put it into a coin locker. If I have enough small money, enough coins, probably not, but I find a solution for that. And then go first see if I can buy something. Then I go do the I don't know if I then will go right away eat something or if I first want to go to the park. Because right on the other side of the station, there's a really big park at the river. And I might just want to go there a bit, walk around a bit in the snow or like a few photos, a few videos, whatever. Yeah, so that are the plans for now. After that, today my train rides are, there are only 3 trains and they're not that long. Like I think 2 of the trains around 1 hour. The and the last train is 2.5 hours, I think. I'm not completely sure. But the annoying thing is between every train I have to wait for like exactly 1 hour, which is a bit annoying because well, I have basically to sit at the station for like a long time. But I think the train should arrive pretty early so I can sit inside the train for like half an hour before it leaves. So okay, so I'm back. I have completed my first mission. Okay, so this is what I bought. Band-aid, band adhesive bandage for the foot behind side. I don't exactly know how it's called in English. Oh wait. I also just realized that I didn't stop the recording, so I have to cut it together again. Okay, but well, it's okay. Oh shit, like data storage of my phone is almost full. I only have 10 gigabytes as left, which is bad, so I have to delete all the videos which I already have on my laptop. Yeah, well, it's okay. But yeah, so I will. It actually was not that expensive, like I think 800 yen or 600 yen for I think 8 things, 8 pieces inside, so that should be enough. So I'm walking through the snow now a bit. I have like 1.5 hours until I should go to see if the train is there, because I want to have a seat and then I spotted the window. The train is probably a diesel one-man car, if I'm correct. Yeah, I'll just keep walking through the snow a bit. Luckily here are not many people around, but I think this place in general is really nice. Also like this whole city here is really nice. To be honest, if I would be living in Japan, probably the best place would be Hokkaido. Just because I think the people here are much more, not friendlier than in Tokyo, but they're more open, they have more fun, they don't think just about working. So yeah, well, I think I will just explore the park here a bit, maybe show some pictures or some videos. I think also like in summer or spring, fall, this is probably wonderful here. Yeah, so, and also like the truck, this was the first time I really went to a Japanese drugstore, and they're wild, like they have cup noodles, food, everything. That's sweets. Look at all of these ducks, look at all of these ducks. Aren't they cute? And look, there are people with like snowmobiles driving by. I don't know if they're just making this road where I can walk or if they're just having fun. Probably both. But yeah, it's a really nice place here. I will now probably look for a toilet in the station where I can buy my band-aid. And yeah, after this probably like look up if I have to buy something to eat for the evening or not, because here are some combines and stuff like that. Oh, I can't really see it. Shit. They're diving under. Really nice, really nice. Okay, I have to stop filming at that point, otherwise I will run out of like data storage today. See ya. So I've done everything I wanted. I'm back in the snow again. I have eaten something. I've bought some Hokkaido okashi, omiyage, some snacks, and I'm in the snow again, as I already said that. Also the thing I bought for my feet are really good, like it hurts a lot less because now my shoe has no friction against my foot, something like that. It's really nice here. It's like the snow buildings people here are building. I have like half an hour left now, so I get my luggage, go through the ticket gate, look for my train, see if it's already there, and then take the train. Okay, I'm in the train station now. It's pretty loud because the diesel limited express next to me is pretty loud. I will take the train to Nayaro at 12:32. The first one, the local one, right in the middle of the screen, with the yellow text next to it right now. I think it's probably coming soon. I might be even able to catch it on camera when the train comes. So this is the overall vibe in the station here. To be honest, I've only been here for like half a day and most of it was night and dark, but I really like this place. I like that it's that there is the park basically right next to the station. So if you're waiting for a transfer or I don't know, waiting for just for a train, you can just go a bit in the park, relax a bit, just walk around. It's so nice. This is the train tracks. I mean, there's nothing special here. I'm wondering, maybe my train is not even a diesel lock because there are like how are they called, wires over all of the tracks. But this also has wires, but it's a diesel, so yeah, I don't know. Might be diesel, might be electric. Could actually really be electric. Quite a few people were already waiting on the platform, and even though the train was fairly crowded, I still managed to get a seat. I had already ridden trains of this type yesterday, the H100 series, and overall they actually feel surprisingly modern, since I think they're also less than 10 years old at that point. The first part of today's journey would take me from Asahikawa to Naioro, with a scheduled travel time of 83 minutes. To be honest, this part of the trip wasn't particularly spectacular, but now that it was bright outside again, I once more spent most of the journey simply looking outside of the window, at least until it got dark again. I really have to say, I absolutely love Hokkaido's winter scenery. While many of yesterday's trains ran along the coastline, today's route mainly passed through small villages, open fields, and dense forests. I even spotted a few deer along the way, unfortunately only whenever I was not filming. The train arrived with a slight delay at 14:02. Since my next and final train wouldn't depart for another hour, I spent some time exploring the station area. The town itself was even smaller than I expected, but the station had a small waiting room decorated with many photographs taken along the railway line. I also thought it was really cool that many of the people who had been on the train with me were apparently doing the exact same journey. Quite a few of them would continue along with me all the way to Wakkanai. While I was waiting at the station and taking care of a few things on my phone, I suddenly spotted a diesel locomotive with a snowplow attached passing by outside the window. And not just me, several other passengers immediately rushed to the window or outside to take photos and videos as well. My next train was scheduled to depart at 14:59. As soon as it arrived, I quickly got on board because it was a train model I already recognized from the previous day. The very retro looking train with the incredible comfortable seats. As I found out, it's the Kiha 54 series. Honestly, I was really happy to see that this would be the train I'd spend the next several hours on. However, even before boarding, I noticed that the announced limited express train was delayed and only arrived about 30 minutes later. Since most of the railway here is single track, that delay also affected my train. As a result, we departed roughly 10 minutes late. Once again, the route mainly led through open snowy fields and dense forests. According to the schedule, this journey alone was supposed to take around 5 hours. My next major stop would be Otoineppu. Later I found out that this village actually holds the title of smallest village in Hokkaido, which I found pretty funny, especially because with around 600 residents, it still has more people than the village I live in back in Austria. Though I guess it's not exactly a fair comparison. The train arrived in Otoineppu with around 20 minutes of delay at 16:22. Honestly, I didn't really care about the delay, since the train was scheduled to wait here for about an hour anyway, to let limited express trains pass. Quite a few passengers got off to stretch their legs and take photos. And of course, I decided to do the same. I mean, you're not in Hokkaido's smallest village every day, right? Unexpectedly, the train actually continued on time at 17:02, but by that point, I already had the feeling that the delayed limited express train would cause more problems later on. And unfortunately, I was right. The train made its planned stop in Toyotomi, but instead of continuing, we remained standing there.
Due to the delay of the passing train, we apologize for the inconvenience. 各位乘客请注意，由于往来列车晚点，本次列车晚点1小时，给您带来不便，深表歉意。感谢您的理解与配合。
According to the announcement, the opposing limited express train was delayed by about 20 minutes, so we had to wait. The reason was apparently a deer accident. Even our own train had been honking fairly regularly after dark, probably to scare away deer and other animals near the tracks. But apparently, that didn't help the express train or the deer. While we were waiting, I tried to use the time productively by planning the next few days of the trip and organizing my turn route. Unfortunately, the internet connection out here was absolutely terrible, so I eventually gave up and continued writing in my travel journal instead. But finally, after around 5.5 hours, I arrived at about 20:40. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a screenshot. At the second northernmost station of Japan. Now you might be wondering, wait, what? Second northernmost? Yeah, like finding accommodation here on Western booking websites actually turned out to be surprisingly difficult, but eventually I found a nice place on Airbnb. My accommodation was fairly close to Minami Wakkanai station, which is about 2.4 kilometers away from Wakkanai station itself.
5-Euro-Menü bei Seecomart.
That was perfectly fine for me though, since I would be staying here for 2 nights anyway and I planned to explore the area on foot and by bus the next day. But for the day, that was it. Even though the journey felt very long at times, I genuinely really enjoyed it, and if I ever get the chance, I'd absolutely love to do something similar again. Maybe next time traveling to Japan's southernmost station? Who knows? So, thanks for watching. Editing this video actually took much longer than expected, since I had to record voiceovers for almost everything. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe and maybe even leave a comment. But otherwise, thanks for watching and see ya! Until next time, bye bye!